So let's talk about customers and sub-customers. So really important. If you convert your QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online, any jobs in QuickBooks Desktop will now become sub-customers. Sub-customers are not the same as projects. So that's really important point, right? So you may see the customer, the column, and the sub-customer. That's not a project. A project is created separately. So you have to create every project one by one. There is no importing feature for projects. So if we are dealing with, again, if we are dealing with people that converted from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online, it is extremely important that you are aware that projects will not import it. You have to create every project one by one. I had to do a big, I had customer, I had to do a project where I had to import from desktop to online, and I was boasting about the new payroll job costing feature. My customers literally waiting years to get payroll job costing into QuickBooks Online. We converted them over, and they completely forgot that projects don't come. Every project had to be created. So if I knew that ahead of time, I could save a lot of aggravation on setting the expectations ahead of time. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So the next comment here is, or the next point here is, sub-customers can be used to create multiple or different billing addresses, but you want to avoid using sub-customers as a project or job, because you're not going to be able to get certain features that have to do with projects inside of a sub-customer. So make sure you don't create a sub-customer as a project. And the most confusing part is a sub-customer and a project can actually have the same name. So it will lend itself up to confusion if you create it as a sub-customer and a project. So we'll talk about that once we get into the in-product demo. Okay, so we are on QuickBooks Online, and we're going to be talking about sub-customers and projects. So the first thing is you want to turn on projects. Now, projects, it's on the left-hand side, that little tab that says projects and it says new next to it. So for some of you, it may not say new because you may have had it enabled for a while. So you do want to check that. Okay. So to turn on projects, we're going to click on the gear menu. So we're going to click on the gear menu, and then we're going to click on account and settings. Account and settings. And then we're going to click on advanced. So then you're going to click on advanced, and we're going to go down to where it says projects, and it says organize all job related activities in one place. Okay. So it's a simple check on and check off. Make sure you have projects turned on. Now this is only available in the Plus edition. So without Plus, you really won't be able to do all the stuff that we're going to do. So those are projects. So I'm going to go into my customer list. Okay, I'm going to go into my customer list. So I'm going to click on sales and then customers. And then I'm going to click on customers. And notice right now we have two customers, customer A and Kathy Paulson. If I click on the drop-down menu and click on new customer, let's say I'm gonna create a sub-customer. So I'm gonna type sub-customer A, and then I'm gonna click on this little checkbox here that says is a sub-customer, and then click on Kathy Paulson. So this is a sub-customer of Kathy Paulson. This is not a project, and you don't want to confuse this with a project. Now this right here, it's a really important question. Bill with parent means if I receive a payment under Kathy Paulson, will I be able to apply that payment to the sub-customer? So if you want to receive a payment for Kathy Paulson, the customer, and you want that payment to be able to apply down to my sub-customer level, I want to click on Bill with Parent. Also, when you create a statement, if you create a statement for the customer, it's going to include all the sub-customers under it if I click Bill with Parent. If I click on Bill this customer, it means I don't want to interchangeably apply a customer payment to a sub-customer or a sub-customer's project invoice, or I don't want them to be cross or mixed in the customer statement. So that's what these two boxes are. So for now, I'm going to click on Bill with Parent, which is the default treatment, and then I'm going to click on Save. So the customer, I'm going to click on back here real quick. I'm going to go back to Kathy Paulson. So I'm going to go back to customers. So the customer is going to say Kathy Paulson, sub-customer A, and that's how sub-customers show. Now, when I create a project, I'm going to go to projects here, and I'm going to click on new project. And then I'm going to call this one sub-customer A. Now, I'm just doing this to confuse you here. I'm creating the project sub-customer A. And notice that I can actually make a project with the name sub-customer A under Kathy Paulson. If I click on Save, notice that I created a project called sub-customer A. And then when I go into sales, I see sub-customer A, but this is not a project, okay? So it's really important to differentiate what's a sub-customer and what's a project. In the customer screen here, you're only gonna see customers and sub-customers. You are not going to you're not gonna be able to select a project from here. You can only select sub-customers. Now, what could also be confusing about this is when I go create an invoice. Let me show you real quick. I'm going to create an invoice. When I click on my drop-down menu, notice that I see both of these. See, one says sub-customer A. QuickBooks added a -1 because I called it the same way. And then it says project. So it's sort of subtle, but it'll say there's sub-project and customer. So that's how you differentiate the two. But of course, I never want to call a project the same thing as my sub-customer. Now, the big question is, how would I even use sub-customers, or why would I use a sub-customer? Well, sub-customers could serve as different locations or different mailing addresses. So for example, I'm going to do sub-customer A. I'm going to change this to, I'm going to call it summer home. Okay. So let's say, for example, I do multiple projects for Kathy Paulson. Let me edit that again, make sure that's in there. Yeah, this is summer home. Give it the same name. So let's say that Kathy Paulson is a customer that I do multiple projects for, and even those projects will have multiple locations or maybe ship to addresses. So I would use the sub-customer as a way to unite multiple projects together into a single billing entity. I think sub-customers are mostly valuable for invoicing purposes. So then when I create my projects, so I'm going to go to my project here, this project here called sub-customer A, I'm going to edit this. And then I'm going to call this new pool. Okay. So that's the new pool, but unfortunately, this project is under the customer's name. I can't, once I create the project, I can't select under what customer it goes. I'm just going to delete this and create a new project again. Okay. So, okay, can't delete it yet. Not sure why it says I can't delete it yet, but I'll create a new project, and then I'm going to call this new pool. And then notice that I can make a project as part of the customer, or I can make it as part of the sub-customer. Okay, so I got both. I can make a project as the customer, or I can make the project for the sub-customer. So this is kind of a good example of how the sub-customers and the projects can work together, or could potentially be confusing. So new pool is a project under Kathy Paulson under the summer home sub customer. So I click on save. Okay, and then I'll go back here to all projects, and you will notice here the new pool project, or not that one. Hold on, let me go back. I got here new pool. So you got new pool under summer home. So you see it there very clearly. If I go to edit, I can see exactly what sub-customer it belongs to. Unfortunately, it doesn't show the full path. I wish it did, but it tells you that this new pool belongs to the summer home. So in order to avoid confusion here, I'm going to go ahead and cancel these two projects here. And we'll cancel them all, okay? Just so we can see one thing and avoid any further confusion. So new pool is my new active project. Now, a couple of things that are important. Projects can actually be either marked completed or canceled. You need this project to be active, not completed and not canceled, so you can use it, recall it, and use it for job costing and all that stuff. So we're not going to mark this completed or canceled yet. Okay. And notice that I can filter my projects based on their statuses. So if I click on canceled here, I get a list of all my canceled projects. If I click on completed, I get a list of all my completed projects. And if I click on in progress, which is the default setting, I see my all my in progress projects. Now the projects themselves, they're just a peg holder. Now I have to create the transactions under the project. So the first transaction I'm going to create is going to be an estimate. Usually that's how we're going to do it. So there's a couple of ways to do it. If you happen to be on this screen, on the project screen, you can actually go into the project itself by clicking on it. And then there's a button on the top right that says add to project. And then I can click on estimate.